Welcome to the Hollywood Scholar. I'm Chad Morgan, and the viewership numbers for The Witcher Season 3 are out, and they're just as abysmal as we could have predicted, because after the Volume 1 came out, and we got news that the viewership dropped 60% from Episode 1 to Episode 5 of Volume 1 of Season 3, we knew Volume 2 was going to be a disaster, and it has been provably so between the Nielsen data and Netflix themselves putting out viewership numbers for this season, and it is horrendously bad. I have no idea why this franchise, why this studio would put out these numbers when they are this bad, especially when compared to their other tentpole series and with previous seasons of The Witcher itself. And there they are, the viewership numbers for Volume 1 of Season 3. We have Netflix coming in at the number 2 spot with 21 episodes in total, including the previous seasons, and 1.3 billion minutes watched. Now, that may seem like a lot. It's not bad. It's nothing to scoff at whatsoever. But as you can see, there's no real competition of big shows coming out during that time, and it couldn't even get number 1. It was beaten out by Suits coming out on Netflix, and very soundly so, if I might add. But 1.3, that's decent. That's decent. That's what some of the early episodes of The Rings of Power were doing. It's not anything to scoff at, and initially it sounds good until you dig a little bit more into the history of this franchise and the history of the viewership figures. If we go all the way back to Season 2 topped the Nielsen chart with 2.2 billion minutes watched. So when it comes to viewership numbers, you never compare different programs to different programs. Like you never compare Samba to Nielsen. So that is what I'm doing here. I'm comparing Nielsen to Nielsen right now. And Nielsen's is saying that in the same span, in the same first 3 days of the release of Season 2 versus Season 3, Season 2 got nearly an entire billion minutes watched more than Season 3. That is atrocious. A billion less minutes nearly. The audience is abandoning this franchise in droves well before even Henry Cavill leaves the role. This franchise was doomed well before that recast announcement. The recast only sealed its fate. But moving on, we also have the Netflix numbers for their streaming during the opening few days of both volumes. So this is the data for the release of Volume 1. Now, when Volume 1 came out, it got 73 million hours watched. That is a lot lower than Season 2. I'll get to that in just a moment here, but that's fine. It's not anything to scoff at necessarily, but that's the important thing about the Witcher franchise. It's not an average show. It was meant to be a cornerstone of Netflix. It's what a lot of their streaming service has been built around, with Stranger Things being the only other contender that is quite as high and heavily invested into as the Witcher series at Netflix. 73 million hours watched. And now there's a new thing with the Netflix Top 10 where they show you the view count. 15 million views for Volume 1 in its initial few days. That is really bad. 15 million views for 5 episodes. That is atrociously bad. I can't even quantify how bad that is. That is 15 million views across 5 episodes. Now, dividing by 5 won't necessarily be an exact number, but it'll give us an average per episode. 15 million views across 5 episodes is roughly 3 million views per episode. That is insanely horrific for a franchise of this size and caliber. Netflix has invested near $1 billion in my estimation between all 5 seasons, and their many spin-offs. When they're only getting a few million views per episode, you know things are in the toilet. But that was even before Volume 2's viewership numbers came out from Netflix. Netflix, who are really dumb to release the actual view count for these episodes, have released the view counts for Volume 2 in the same period, the same initial few days. In the same few day period, they only got 59 million hours viewed. That is significantly less. That is about 15 million fewer views from Volume 1 to Volume 2. And yes, there is a size of volume difference, but I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference because Episode 6 was quite longer than most of the rest of the season. But view-wise, they got 7 million views for 3 episodes. Again, that is horrendously bad. That's less than half of Volume 1. 3 million per episode is enough that this franchise should be canceled and sold immediately. Get it out of the hands of Netflix. The viewership numbers are atrociously bad. Now, for example, I have the comparison for Season 2 here. So for those of you who are saying, oh, but 73 million hours is like a lot or something. Well, let's compare it to Season 2 and see the dip from Season 2. The Witcher Season 2 accrued an astonishing 142 million hours viewed in the first 3 days. That is the same period as both of these volumes are shown here. And even their combined viewership hours cannot compare to the viewership hours for season 2. This is atrociously bad. Netflix has failed soundly. And once again, this is one of their tentpole shows. This is one of the cornerstones of the entire streaming service. Let's compare it to the most recent addition to one of their other cornerstone productions. Netflix's Stranger Things Season 4, which was also divided up into 2 volumes. Stranger Things Season 4, Volume 1 was able to accrue an astonishing 286 million hours viewed in its first few days of release. In the same period, Witcher Season 3 Volume 1 was only able to garner together 73 million hours watched. That is atrocious for one of the main cornerstones of Netflix's streaming service. The Witcher franchise is dead, and the hole is getting dug deeper for themselves by one of the producers who first came out and said that the multiverse would be what is used to explain away the recast from Henry Cavill to Liam Hemsworth, even though that is not the case lore accurate-wise in the books as he claimed. He also claimed that Ciri is the main character of the Witcher books, which is provably false. This is coming from the same studio that marketed Season 3 by saying, yes, he's still the Witcher in Season 3. That's the same company who's marketing it off of Henry Cavill's existence. Now this producer is doubling down and attacking the audience, specifically the American audience, and blaming them for the state of the franchise. So this same producer said that Americans and social media are the reason for the simplified plots. He straight up says, we hate to do it. We hate to simplify the books and add in all this other stuff. We hate to do it. But Americans are just so fucking stupid that we had to. It's not our fault. It's dumb Americans' fault that we had to simplify and change the plot so aggressively. This is next level bad coming from Netflix producer Tomek Baginski. This is incredibly stupid coming from him. We are not the reason why this franchise is failing. You are the reason this franchise is failing. You decided that you hated the source material, you hired people who know nothing about the source material and would rather inject political ideology into the story than actual source material. Like the Witcher casting director who specifically said she cast people in order to challenge beauty standards, in order to inject a political message, whether that be from race swap to choosing ugly actresses and actors for the roles of typically beautiful people from the source material. That is why this franchise is failing. People who are unskilled in writing, people who don't like the source material, and people who want to inject political messaging rather than inject the source material into the product. The American audience is not the reason. Saying that we're simplifying the show and the plot lines for the dumb Americans is just coping to the 9th degree, and I cannot wait for this franchise to fail as it is so soundly doing in the viewership numbers released by both Netflix and the Nielsen's. When the Nielsen's come out for Volume 2 next month, I will be here to report on them and see just how atrociously bad they are in compared to Volume 1. The audience for this franchise is leaving in droves. We are down substantially from the viewership numbers from Season 2, and even before that, Season 1. It is drying up, and I have begun to even question if Season 4 will take place at all. And that's saying a lot considering how much money they've invested into the future of this franchise. But anyway, that's all I have for today. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Anon.
Hey, yo, are you feeling what I'm doing up in here? Oh, I know you are. Do you miss all the good, compelling stories that we used to get back in Hollywood that they ain't putting down no more? Oh, I know you missing it. So check out my book series, Odyssey of a Phoenix, a mythological epic about philosophy, morality, and modern-day mental illness issues, baby. Book 1, Down in Flames. Book 2, Apocalypse Then. These are currently on sale. What are you waiting for? Get your hands on them. And we got Book 3, Kill the Dark, is coming down the pipeline. Just wait for all the good stuff that's dropping. You ain't gonna be disappointed, fam.